Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do a fun little tag video that Ruby from Ruby Red tagged me in. I will link all of the questions down below as well as Ruby, and if I can find the original creator as well. I believe this tag is called like the Why Haven't I Read This Book tag. Not quite sure, but essentially there's just 5 prompts here that I am pulling books from my physical TBR. Ruby specifically requested hearing about our physical TBRs, which is really the only TBR I have right now because of my reading through my physical TBR project that I'm currently working through. So let's get into what is sitting here and why. Like I said, there is 5 prompts or questions, and the first one I genuinely do not have, and that is why haven't I read this classic? And I don't read classics, so I don't have any sitting here in my home. I don't have any on my radar. Please don't make me read any for any reason. Thank you. So then the next prompt is why haven't I read this fiction book? And I did purposely try to pull books that were like older on my shelf, and this is the most like general fiction-y type thing that I thought to share, and that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I haven't read this one or what's the newer one, the gold one about tennis. What is that one? Carrie Soto is back. I haven't read either of those. Not sure what she's coming out with next, but I would assume she has a book coming soon. And I really just don't know why I haven't gotten to these. A lot of the reasons why I haven't gotten to some of these is just because they never seem to fit prompts for my TBR game. So eventually they will, because eventually I'm going to have, I was going to say no books, but hopefully 10 books on my physical TBR. I highly anticipate this one, and it will be a treat when I finally do get to read it, but it's been sitting there for a while. The next question is why have I not read this nonfiction book? And you'll know right away why I haven't read this one, and it's because it's large. It's a very large book, but it is And Never Let Her Go by Anne Rule. I enjoy Anne Rule's writing so much. This is true crime. I've read 2 Anne Rules already, and this is kind of just the next one on my list. I also, not only is it large, it's also hardcover, so it's just not going to be fun to hold. So I may just need to pick up like an audiobook or the ebook of this. But again, never seems to fit many prompts on my TBR game. Eventually, there's a few books ahead of this, but eventually this will be able to fit like the longest book on my TBR. But again, this one should be a treat when I finally get to it. Next is why have I not read this genre book? And so when I was thinking of like specific genres that I maybe have a lot of or read a lot of, I instantly thought of romance. It was between romance and mystery for me because I do have a lot of mystery still sitting on my shelf, but I decided to go with a romance because I think this is maybe one that's a little shocking that I still haven't read it, or yeah, that it's still sitting here, and that is The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. I own this one, and I do also own the third one, and I genuinely don't know how or why I keep not getting to this one. I think it's gonna be quick. I think it's gonna be fun. I think I'm really gonna like it, but there it sits on that TBR shelf, so somebody should give me my final push to finally pick this up. And then finally, the final prompt is why haven't I read this book that's been on my shelf the longest? And full disclosure, I think that I don't have anything older than 2020, like that I acquired before 2020 still on my shelf. So this isn't that old. I would have acquired it in 2020, which is 3 years ago, and I keep holding on to it, and that is The Holdout by Graham Moore. I will say that this probably does sit on my shelves because I don't hear anything about it. It was not that hyped of a book. Not that many people ended up reviewing it that I saw. This is from February of 2020 from Book of the Month. But it's a genre I really like. I know it's going to be like a courtroom thriller, and so I have high hopes for it. Again, it's not that long, so I've been holding on to this one for the longest time, and out of this stack it's probably the one that like still sparks the least interest from me. I'm a popularity follower. I'm sorry, I just am. But I genuinely think that this is something that if I let hype out of my mind, like this is something that really intrigues me. And so that's it. Those are some things that have been hiding on my TBR shelf for a long time, with honestly, as I'm here to tell you why they've been sitting there, I have no reasons. But if you want to, go ahead and let me know down below which one you think I should get to first. Ultimately, my TBR game is the boss of me, but I'd love to hear what you think. But lastly here, I do want to tag just a few people since I was actually tagged for this. I'm not sure if any of these people have already done the tag, so if they have, hi. Sorry I missed it, or sorry I forgot that I already watched it. I would like to tag Martine from Just Martine. I know that they have an extensive physical TBR, but that they aren't always with it. But I think they have enough with them wherever they are at the time of filming this, that they could share some good things. And then I would also like to tag Natalie from Natcat's Bookish Cafe. I think that she has a large TBR, but like a much more selective selection, so I'd be interested what her answers would be. And then finally, I'd like to tag Adriana from Carbon Bonded Books. I know that she keeps a fairly small TBR and has talked about it a bit recently, but hopefully she can bank this tag as something to do in the future or still share. So that is my quick tag video for you today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.